Dear students, we have learned in the previous class what is a verb, where it should be used, and also we have learned what is transitive verb and what is an intransitive verb. Today we will learn what is a complement. If you have learned what is object in a sentence, you must learn what is a complement, because in some sentences there will be objects, in some other sentences there will be complements. So let us know what is a complement, or what is the position of a complement in a sentence. The word complement itself means that which completes the sense. That means if a sentence structure is there, in certain sentences without complement the sentences cannot be completed. As a definition, will say that complement is a word or words added to complete an incomplete sentence. Okay, we'll see what's the use of it and how it should be placed in a sentence. See these examples. The boy seemed. The dog is. Do you feel that there is something should be in order to complete the sentence, or are you feeling that these sentences are complete? Okay. Yes, you must have felt it that something must be added to complete these sentences. So those words are very essential to complete the sense in these sentences. Otherwise, these sentences are incomplete. So even though in certain other sentences subject and verb alone is enough. For example, mother cooks. Okay, that alone is enough to complete the sentence. But here the dog is. Even if we have used here subject and verb, it's not complete. So the words which are added to complete the sense in a sentence are called complements. Now these sentences are complete. The boy seemed upset. The dog is hungry. Okay, in order to complete these sentences, these two words are necessary. So the words which helps to complete the sense are called complements in a sentence. It can be nouns, it can be adjectives, etc., pronouns, etc. We have learned that there can be complements in a sentence. There are two types of complements named as subject complement and object complement. A subject complement is an adjective or a noun that renames or defines in some way the subject. That means it will be related to the subject. A subject complement will be related to the subject. It can be adjective or noun. Also, it follows a linking verb. You remember what is a linking verb? All the B forms. B forms are called linking verbs, which links it to its subject. Here, the sentence you see, Joe is a lover of apples. Joe is. After that, if there is no word, the sentence is incomplete. But here there is lover. Lover is there. It comes just after the linking word, but it tells about the subject, Joe. Okay, who is the lover of who is the lover of apples? You will get the answer, Joe. So this is related to the subject. So this is called subject complement. It is coming just after the linking verb is. See another example for subject complement. Jacob's new kite was blue. What's the subject here? If you structure the sentence, Jacob's new kite, that's the subject, and verb is was, and complement is blue. Blue refers to Jacob's new kite. Am I right? It comes just after the linking verb was. So this is called complement, and this is called subject complement because it refers to the subject. If subject complement defines the subject, What should be an object complement? It will be telling about you, the object. An adjective, a noun, or a phrase that renames or defines in some way the object of the transitive verb, not the subject. Okay, so the object complement will be defining or renaming the object in a sentence. For example, I consider the driver tired. I consider whom tired? The driver. That is a transitive verb. Consider is a transitive verb because it has an object. Consider whom. You will get the answer driver. And who is tired here? The driver. It is not the subject. So, since it is referring to the object in a sentence, it is called object complement. See the next example. Paint it black. This is an imperative sentence, so it starts with the verb. If it is an imperative sentence, then it will be starting with the verb, not with the subject. So the subject automatically it will be you. Okay. So paint it black. Also we'll see paint is verb. It is object. Paint what? Paint is a transitive verb because it has an object, that is it. Paint what? Black. Paint it black. And black, that's a color. This is a complement. It's an adjective. This is a complement. Since it is telling you about the object, it is an object complement. It is not referring to you, but it is referring to it. So this is called object complement in the sentence. See the next example. The jury found Taylor innocent. Object is Taylor because it answers the question whom. The jury found whom innocent. You will get the answer Taylor. So Taylor is an object. And whom is innocent here? Whom is found innocent here? Taylor. So since innocent refers to the Taylor, that is the object in a sentence, this is called object complement in this sentence. So I think it's clear for you. If the complement refers to the subject, that is called subject complement, and if it refers to the object, then it is called object complement. And you see, without that the sentence is incomplete. I consider the driver tired. If I do not say tired, that sentence is incomplete. Similar way, paint it means it's not clear. If I say black or blue, then only it is clear. So that is also essential in that sentence. The jury found Taylor innocent. In order to understand the meaning of it, this innocent is very essential. So these complements are very necessary in order to complete the sentence. Next, we will see strong and weak verbs. Okay, we know the forms of verb. There is V1, V2 and V3 forms, or present, past and past participle forms of verbs. It's clear for you. For example, run, ran, run. Come, came, come. Or eat, ate, eaten. Similar way, look, looked, looked. Okay, you see most of the verbs forms their past and past participle forms by using T or D. But there are certain other verbs which will not be changing its present form to past or past participle form by adding T or ED. Those types of verbs are called strong verbs. So the strong verbs are those types of verbs which make its past and past participle forms not using T or D. For example, give, gave, given. You see only here the changes with the root vowel, which is that give, E, give, G, E, V, give. And give is changed into, E is changed into A, gave, given. You see the changes with the vowels only. There is no change with the ending. or there is no addition of T or D. These types of verbs are called strong verbs. These strong verbs are also called irregular verbs because it forms its past and past participle forms by not by the regular forms of forming past and past participle. Regular form is ed or d, adding d or ed, but here it is changing not by using t or d or ed. See here is what is a weak verb. A weak verb, generally a main verb that needs t, d to give its past, and past participle form is called weak verb. Okay, a main verb that loses an if from its usual form to give the past and past participle form is called a weak verb. For example, read, read and read. This is weak verb, not strong verb, because you see only there is a change of vowels. Okay, and a verb that does not change its usual form in all the three forms is called weak verb. For example, cut, set, put. It's present tense, past tense and past participle. There is no change. Cut, cut, cut. Set, set, set. Put, put, put. These types of verbs are also called weak verbs. A main verb that needs an ed to form its past and past participle form is called a weak verb. For example, walk, walked and walked. Render, rendered and rendered. You see, these three types of verbs are called weak verbs. These are also called regular verbs because it is forming its past and past participle using the regular form of making past and participle, that is d, t, d or ed. There is a list of irregular verbs or strong verbs. Awake, awoke, awoken, be, was, were and been, become, became and become, begin, began, begun. See these examples for regular verbs or weak verbs. Arrive, arrived, arrived, asked, asked and asked, boil, boiled, boiled, call, called and called. See, these are called regular verbs because it is forming its past and past participle forms by using t, dd or d. Okay, and these are called regular verbs are called also weak verbs. Irregular verbs are also called strong verbs. Keep it in your mind. There is often a chance of confusion whether regular verbs are strong verbs and irregular verbs are weak verbs. This just opposite. Okay, please keep it in your mind. I hope that you understood what is a complement and what is a strong verb and weak verb or regular and irregular verbs. Okay, there are certain words to be remembered which is to be used before a complement. Okay, this is given on page number 28. Please refer it. That is, are, B forms, all the B forms plus seem, appear, become, look. Whatever comes after these words will be complement only. It's not object. Please keep it in your mind. These words you keep it in your mind. Also, please complete all the exercise in the text that which we did not complete. We have learned how to form nouns and adjectives. Also, we can form verbs from adjectives or nouns. Okay, there is some prefixes which will help us to form verbs. For example, by using n as prefix. That will be used as suffix only. Darken, deepen, widen, etc. Also, ate, appreciate, celebrate, congratulate. What's its noun form? All this will be added tion. Okay, and also ifi, identify, purify, satisfy, etc. Its noun is identification, purification, satisfaction, etc. Also isc, realize, recognize, modernize. N as prefix, enable, enslave, enlarge, etc. In these ways we can make more verbs by using these prefixes and suffixes. Okay children, read everything, go through this video, and please do complete all the exercise in the textbook. Okay.